Hello, and welcome back to Step Out the Showdown. It's me, Gonzo, and I'm back for the last game. And this time I'm joined by my co-Londoner, but a different one, Jake. How's it going, Jake? You're just done with your game that we're not gonna spoil, but you're ready to be not only participating but commentating on season 4. How are you?
Hello, it is good to be back in Sabodi. I'm very much looking forward. Just had my first game of the season, which was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to getting into commentating again.
Yeah, I've been missing it to be honest. I have enjoyed being going to every locals that I could in the break time, but it's always nice to see some gameplay from great players. And today
I've
we
had
actually have two like interested parties in here, right? Like you get along with both of our players today.
certainly been way too much free time lately without this commentary on the side, but yes, I am a big fan of both these players. I'm pretty sure I have negative records versus both of them, which is very great seeing as they're both in the same division now.
Mhm.
But I am very excited for this game now.
Great players and great spices. We can take a look at the profiles over there, but basically, ARJ is one of the OGs from our London community. Pretty much, we've been getting along with him for years, pretty much, and it's always one of the people we want to see doing great at regionals and other tournaments. But right now, you are an invested party, so if you could choose, you would choose for both of them to lose, so you can win the division. But you also like got some really amazing interactions with Mary. You played each other on one of your big tournament results, and you managed to get him into Sabaudi pretty much, both commentating last season and getting him in this one. So, you probably are having a bit of like trouble deciding who you want to support for the win this time.
I'm going to be completely unbiased here, and we're just going to have a very good game.
That's fair enough. I might have to bias a bit more with Arch. I'm sorry, Mary. Just
Well,
OG
then I'll
takes
have to.
precedence in my case, but I'm sure that the second we play against each other, that might change. But we got two very interesting deck choices. So we're going to be seeing Zoro Sanji, which is going to be one of the protagonists next season, but it's not quite that great right now, other than some Luca magic happening in one of our regionals where I'm guessing a lot of inspiration was drawn from for
We
Arch.
get some
And
Avoye magic too.
yeah, that is true. We did get some Herboya magic. Yeah, so basically some Croatian OPT magic happening with the deck before Herboya went back to his GP roots. Um, and then on the other side, we have something that made it to top cut last week, but I don't think has seen as much, like I guess, representation. It's purple yellow pudding. Jeez, also an interesting list because we're running the ace, and I get the feeling that Mary might be running the ace specifically to flex the ace. I'm not too sure if that belongs on the list or is just like a bit of a
I,
intimidation tactic.
I can confirm there is a serial ace in the list. But no,
Yeah,
this
that.
pudding deck does seem very interesting now that we've got this new PRB 7 cost pudding in the list, which really can be quite dangerous.
Yeah, it's basically like a a big mom theme Dressrosa Rebecca, right? Like you pay 7 to get to develop two fairly big bodies, but this time it's actually a reasonable body as well. It's a 5k, and you also get to do the same. You draw some cards and then you play something. So
Yeah.
effectively you get to keep some of your resources while developing quite powerfully actually. So
Especially when you're playing that 6 cost category off of it.
yeah, that one does a lot of work. Yeah, I feel like that does help you bind into the late game a bit better. Like before, it was basically I need to get to 10, I need to get to 10, I need to get to 10, and now you do have something to do on 7, which is a bit more scary. But it does feel like the aggression of Soro Sanji can be very troublesome for this pudding deck, right? Like I'm not sure I've witnessed this specific matchup before, but I do feel like the dynamics will be similar to Green Purple, where basically you can get them to the point where if they play a big mom, they can still die on the way back.
I
Um,
certainly know his pudding strategy was quite weak to aggro decks in the past.
mhm. Yeah, and I'm not sure how much it will help to have this 7 cost pudding. It's obviously going to be helpful in a way because you do get to swing back at the board after playing your big mom, so there's a bit more of a balancing act, and that's cool. But we're still kind of relying on some of our triggers to make sure we don't die on the clapback. So let's see how that goes. We see the engine card right now for Zoro Sanji, which is basically that BB giving us the option to basically cast Pilaf every turn after we get a decent attacker.
Yeah, I think that's the amazing thing about this Zoro Sanji list now. The addition of this VV allows us to be a bit more than just an aggro deck. It allows us to be almost in a lot of cases. Zoro Sanji strategy can outvalue your opponent by just recycling this VV to just constantly draw every turn.
hmm Yeah, for anyone that might be a bit confused about this and they're not super familiar with the Zoro Sanji leader, but effectively, as long as it has one Don, when attacking once per turn, so no more like re-attack shenanigans to be used, you can return a 2 cost or more character to your hand and set up one of your characters with power 7,000 or more back to active. So it basically lets you trade off a character on board to get an extra attack with something else. And yeah, like the whole engine of the deck is actually pretty cool because this Perona is the binding for the whole thing. Like we basically get to search for some of our best slash characters that we were already running, things like Arlong, the 2K Mihawk, or the 8 cost Mihawk, the loss to get some extra value off of this on place for cost 2 or more, and the Cavendish. And on top of that, yeah, DV is also slash, so you can find the engine with that Perona, which is extremely, extremely useful.
Yep. We are running a hybrid of East Blue and Slash in this list. With a little fish package, which crosses over with a lot of East Blue stuff. So it's a very spicy kind of list.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Mary on his side has ramped once and used Viola to be able to re-ramp, which is definitely not horrible.
Do you get to see this category come down? Which doesn't really do much for us now, but I guess it's a body on board ready to pressure Arlong when it turns sideways.
Yeah, yeah. The fact that Harlon negated our leader attack definitely put a bit of a spanner on the works for Mary, but still, as you mentioned, we do need a body to be pressuring those rested bits afterwards, and this Harlon is now. I get the feeling he's gonna be swinging twice this turn.
It
Um,
does slow Mary's ramping down quite a bit, putting me only being able to ramp on leader swing here.
yeah, that basically means we don't get to reach 10 Dawn, but we're gonna be stuck on 9. So it's pretty
And
much quite
very
enough.
interestingly, is normally 9 Dom would be fine, but we're choosing not to run the 9 cost Big Bum in Mary's list here.
That is a fair point. I guess you kind of need to decide the top end you run, and if you're just squeezing in those 8 cost categories, there might not be space for everything, right? Like we're running 6 of the categories instead, so we have some options, and then those aces. So I guess something had to give, but it's relatively normal that those
We,
2 aces spots would be 9 cost big mums. So the power of flex, I guess.
well, we'll see if these flex spots do come up in this matchup.
Okay, that is very interesting. We did see the blocker law as well coming from Archer's way, which is not a bad situation. And we are now like properly blocked up, pretty much.
We are opting to not take the free block here, as we're swinging 5 leader.
Also not taking the champ block for the 8. Or maybe we're gonna block and give 2k 1k.
What's interesting here is I thought maybe we'd see the pudding coming down and ramping up to offset the Don, but we are just going to be hard playing the ACOS category blocker. This will provide us a little bit more defense as we now approach into our where we want to be, our 10 Don turn for Mary's deck. Now enabling us access to the Ace and Linlan.
Yeah. But now the window's open for Arch quite a bit, right? Like because we do know there's a VV on board that you can get some value off of. There we go. But like I don't particularly hate like swinging with that blocker low and playing it for 6 seconds either. If we are on the spot to do so, we are gonna be one Dawn short now. because we played the BB. But I feel like there were some shenanigans to be done with like a Perona there, played for one, and then like swing 7-6, bounce the 6-7, and replay the law to pick up the Perona and play the BB. Like there's a lot of shenanigans. I'm
It,
kind of
it,
wanting to build this now.
it is amazing the amount of combinations this Zoro Sanji leader has access to.
Mm. Yeah, it's kind of scary.
It's certainly no surprise that we've only really been seeing results from this deck from selected few players just because of how many lines available it has.
The permutations seem to be endless, pretty much. And there we go. Here comes.
We
We're
really
gonna.
should be putting a Vivi count for how many times we're going to be recycling this Vivi game.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. We got putting down to 0, so this is kind of the danger spot we were mentioning before, right? Like now we have a blocker, we have a full board. Even if we get a life burnt and we take one more life in this spot, it's kind of a good position to be
So
in for
here's
Arch
where
because
things like the Rush Ace would be very nice just to try and stabilize this board a little bit. But with the amount of swinging potential we have, it does look very scary.
yeah, definitely. Okay, so Arch took that 5, and I feel like if you do that, you're basically just committing to taking all of the life.
And there is one of our aces. Unfortunately, not a serialized one, but it is an ace to help us in this situation nonetheless.
Yeah.
With
Hmm.
we've
I'm,
got a lot of swings potentially coming in from ARJ's side. Plus, we have, of course, being a green deck, we always have this access to Hody Jones.
yeah, that's also gonna be hitting very hard this time around. We have 9 done to be playing around with pretty much as we want to. And yeah, we just start easy. 7,
It's
give
not
me a
easy,
blocker 2 cards.
and we are just going to put this Cavendish effect on digging for extra cards. We just love drawing so many cards in this deck. It is a shame that the Cavendish is once per turn, so you can't get the effect off with the restand, which is something I've always been very miffed at with this deck. But
It's
I
also
think it would
annoying,
be
right?
very busted.
Yeah, the other Cavendish does work, so like I can see how that can be fairly annoying, and that's enough. Mary was too bricked, and the last life wasn't one of the triggers that could save the situation. So we move on to game 2, and Arch manages to take the basically the offensive on this, and he's one game away from taking the win.
That was a
This,
very quick one. The Zoro
Mhm,
Sanji saw what it wanted to do and managed to get us before we saw a single Big Mum.
mhm. Yeah, I actually wanted to talk about that, but we didn't get a chance because the game was over a bit abruptly. But basically, on that turn, when Arch goes to one life, I feel like we didn't respect the option of a big mom at all, right? Like if we do that kind of defense where we take the 5 and the 7 and then counter the 8, and that ace happens to be a big mom instead, we're gonna go down to 1 anyways. Uh, I'd assume that Mary might have played the big mom before swinging with Katakuri if that was the case. I don't know. It just felt a bit risky to take that initial 5, if that makes some sense.
I
Like I
think
feel
the
like
main
that
risk
one
there
card.
would be if we high rolled triggered on Mary's side,
Yeah.
but otherwise we were quite safe. But certainly there is a yellow deck at the end of the day. We always have to be have that in the back of our heads as a consideration of zero cost into zero cost. As much
Hmm.
as we joke about it, it can happen.
Yeah. No, that's definitely true. But I don't know. I guess that was the only surprising turn of events on this one, and obviously the fact that Big Mom wasn't there like was problematic on its own. But yeah. Tony is on chat, basically highlighting that it's very sad that the other Cavendish It's not workable on this deck because they're technically not a supernova here, even though they might be a super or a nova. I guess half of them are a regular supernova type, but both of them are not. So Sanji is creating the patch in this case and stopping us from doing Cavendish atrocities, really, because that one is not once per turn, right? So we would get to effectively reuse 4 down per turn if we were able to um, get some value of that Cavendish, green
Oh,
Cavendish, I mean.
and we are seeing ARJ search for this Arlong early, and that Arlong really did put in work there, denying Mary one turn off of his 10 cost turn,
Mm.
and
Um,
even getting the Vivi. So we've got all the options in ARJ's hands set up right now.
yep. Yeah, this is gonna be kind of difficult to sequence by Mary. She's yeah gonna be taking a life showing those two. One of them is a beige trigger, so and that's always interesting information.
Yeah, we will have to see how ARJ plays around this because this page can stop some reswinging shenanigans.
Mhm.
So it can be interesting.
Definitely can. Okay, we
Yet,
find that category again, right? So that's kind of pointed towards Arch just replaying the Arlong play. Easy 5 swing, play the Arlong, move on with our lives.
yeah, but I guess this Arlong does mitigate a problem I've seen playing into pudding where sometimes you don't want to take this life off of them because if
Mhm.
they Katakuri, they can then use leader power again. However, this
Yeah.
Arlong just says no.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much not it. Okay. So it's gonna be category. We're gonna place ourselves in one more down. So we're back to 9, which, as we mentioned before, is kind of annoying for Murray. That basically means we're gonna go for the 8 cost category and we're good to go there. We did
Yeah,
get rid of the green Zoro for that effect. I guess it's not very relevant on this specific matchup.
I don't know. We do run a lot of chump blockers in this pudding list. We do run like the Violas.
Uh, I guess so, and it's always alright to get rid of like a random Sus that might be on board.
And I know we don't have it in this list, but there is always a chance of Brunei blockers coming in from triggers.
Hmm. Yeah, that's fair. Hero events on the list as well. It's interesting, given the amount of really good green events, specifically a game of a man that died. Um, and with 4 Peronas, it can always be of a toolbox, but you do need your things on board to bounce. So there is that.
We'll see how Arj wants to navigate this turn now that we've got the mage
And
triggering
leader attack. Yeah.
here, which is going to take off a lot of Arj's offensive ability, and it's going to take away our ability to sort of play the VV and recycle it immediately.
Hmm. Ooh, we're gonna play the BB naturally. I feel like this would be a very good turn to play something. Oh, we have 3 more done. Like a low play would have been very interesting this turn too.
Yeah, I would have loved a block a law play here, but I guess we may not have it because we've not really developed board at all here, which
Yeah,
Mary's going to be smiling about having it only this Arlong on board field.
yeah, that's definitely gonna be the case. It's kind of interesting because a part of me might have even wanted to play the BB first and bounce it for like no reason, knowing that that base is there. But it is tricky. That card is definitely really good at mind gaming your opponent with the swings.
Now we are going to see a poke here. We are going to get this last leader power off, and oof, that is a lovely bottom life we can see right there.
Hmm. Yeah, Mary's not pulling his punches with the triggers this game. That's making things a lot more interesting. Ooh. Tony is being very kind to us and offering us one more game, but I do feel like we have been working quite a bit and we need to ease into the season. So we're going to say no for now. Agreeing with Jack, we're not going to be casting one more, but I might be taking a look at it myself, Tony, and providing some feedback. I do
Yeah,
get the feeling I know what that matchup was too. Okay.
I do. I like this pudding a lot here with established a blocker and a attacker while also refilling our hand with the draw two.
Yeah. And category lets you pretty much exactly go back to tendon going forward. So
What's
yeah.
quite funny is we even get to use this one cost pudding effect here just to see the top card of
Mhm.
ARJ's deck.
Yeah. Reveal it. Technically, we're webcam gaming. So fun. Okay.
Is it not?
It
Is it not revealed to both players, or is it only your opponent gets to look? Oh, it is
it is your opponent gets to look, but I guess it's revealed because webcam rules.
on webcam.
Yeah,
Yep.
because logistical reasons mostly. Ooh.
That was always the ruling for the OG original yellow category on webcam. Both players get to see it.
Yep. Yep. I'm just not sure it was even feasible to do that without. Also, kind of wanted to commend ARJ's Dons, even though he's not running the Sabaody sleeves, and I feel like everyone deserves some hate for not running them this season. Everyone that owns them, obviously, no shame to Mary that didn't manage to get in for the first round of them. But I did
Well,
give
I
Arch his sleeves, so he should be running them. Uh, but I do like the
can't
Don
blame
anyway.
Mary for running his own non sleeves with a QR code to his YouTube channel.
That is true. By the way, if anyone has not been following him, please go ahead. Mary TCG, really good content, especially if you like NL. Mm, yeah, he's definitely very good at NL content, including some questionable tournaments happening.
He's recently been doing a tendon testing series, which has been providing a great laugh, so I do recommend checking it out.
Mhm. Okay, on goes the aggression. So we went for a seven swing first, and we're gonna restand and do one more seven swing.
Let me get our Vivi back so we can just keep dropping these Vivis. We're going to quite comfortably be countering us out. We're going to be at a very, very safe spot for Mary, especially because Arj hasn't managed to develop another body here.
Yeah, it does feel like board position is not where he wants it to be. We have a couple of weak turns mid game, and I'm not sure that's what he wants to find either. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a great card, but it would have been great couple couple turns back. Seven once more.
Scary thing is, taking this life does enable like stuff like our Rush Ace to be live,
Hmm.
but we always have our favorite Mama as well as a big option.
Yeah, and also like this is looking a lot more troublesome, right? Because now we rested that Arlong and it's our only significant body as well. So like I feel like it's definitely gonna be swung 7 and 8 at the very least straight into
Yep.
it itself.
Normally, if you in a position like this where you're so far behind on board, you'd want to be looking at your maybe more risky lethal options. However, that bottom
Mhm.
life of Mary really just says no to that as a possibility as well. So we are going to have to find a way of rebuilding some kind of offensive force from Arj's side.
Yeah, yeah, that is very much the case. Ooh, we're
Ooh.
using Don. That is unexpected.
That is interesting. I wonder if we have managed to whiff a 10 cost or if we're just setting up for more categories.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that prospect, and actually, weirdly enough, the 8 cost category might completely thwart Archer's offensive next turn as well. Like if we were
It's
to put that Arlong into life,
it
in spite of
certainly
the
gives
triple.
us a better setup,
Mm.
and
Arch goes down to 3 cards in hand. He's accidentally revealing one of them, at least. Uh,
do you
oh,
see a second pudding hit the table?
yep. Is that gonna be playing the yellow version of the category? Maybe. Oh, no,
That we
this is
go another purple. And we get to see that ARJ is drawing into a 2k next turn. It doesn't really do much for him.
oh,
Oh,
oh my God. Yeah.
whoa.
Okay, that is a
We
lot
are
more terrifying.
we are playing Katakuri Turbo. I did find it very interesting there that Mary wrote over the 7 cost pudding rather than the 1 cost pudding, and that's probably why he was going to get rid of both of them anyway.
Yeah,
This,
yeah, I was gonna make the same point pretty much. Like, wouldn't you prefer the 5k attacker? Like, I guess an 8k attacker is just better.
but he showed both of us.
Hmm. He's not pulling his punches.
This is a terrifying sight from Arja's side. Even if we were running DMG or and Hodies, there's just too much blockers to rest now.
Yep. Huh. Okay. I guess that's some BV shenanigans. Throw some cards.
I guess
Six,
we're just
seven.
building board on Arja's side here. I guess we have to
Yeah,
because otherwise we're never breaking through triple blocker and 0 cost last life.
100%. And I guess that BV is coming back to hand. It's better as counter that as a brick on
Yeah,
board.
yeah. Unfortunately, it is just going to be met with a free block, and we've not got any shortage of those from his side.
Nope. None at all. This is looking grim actually for Arch. Like he's rebuilt his hand size obviously, but like now it's gonna be 5, 5, 7, 8, 8, 8. And if one of those lives comes in, I do feel like Lin Lin could be in the cards.
Yep. Even we can go more aggressive with a 10 cost ace as well.
Vander Decken.
Well, do have triple blocker on our side, so we're pretty safe this turn. But whether we can make any use of being safe this turn remains a very big question. No, we're seeing no Don investment here on any of these swings. I do
Whatsoever.
think we're going to be seeing this Don stack turn sideways,
And here comes the ace. Yep.
and there it is, the serialized ace, just a flex.
Hmm. That's a good way to go for game. I'm not gonna lie. And I do get the feeling that Mary is very good at drawing the aces, maybe better than at drawing the big mums. We have seen a grand total of 0 Linlins being played in 2 games, and he plays twice as many as aces. Uh, so, whew. Okay. Draw
Oh
engine is
no.
back online.
What good is a draw engine on 0 life versus this board?
Not great. Not great. Um,
Yep.
you know, that's respectable.
I did think the Vanderdecker would be good in this matchup, but when there's just this many categories, it's just a
Yep.
drop in the ocean.
3 cards in hand, 0 life. And this is a swing when we cannot even represent the Hody anymore for some scary times. So, mm, kind of interesting that we could have like bounced that Vanderdecken.
Yeah.
We have some way out of this because it's looking very like a very predictable end is on the way.
Yep, unfortunately so. I going through all the cards and ARJ's list, I don't see a way out. It's
Ooh, that's not great. Nine swing, it's a Duffy, and we die a terrible death.
and that was just a very impressive showing from putting their complete contrast to our first game. That beige trigger was really a huge turn there because we turned off like two additional potential 7k swings on that one turn.
No, those two triggers revealed actually also messed up quite a bit with Archer's possibilities for lethal, which is very, very annoying because if you don't have that information, you can always kind of play it out with a Hody if you manage to find one of your two copies. But the fact that they were there, I feel forced him to play a bit more conservatively on those situations, and that's exactly where Mary wanted him. And
Unfortunately, when we did play conservatively in those mid turns, we we did a very good job drawing cards with Vivi, but we didn't establish any bodies, so Vivi was just in a very safe position from multi-attack shenanigans.
yeah, 100%. This is not where we needed to be. I do find like there are some interesting implications of the free block with Katakuri, and like genuinely, we could have killed one of those with relative ease rather than playing another Vivi, especially if we already had like a break in hand or two. It might have been just better to negate that and lower the board size a bit. But it doesn't really seem like it would have been a real difference, to be honest. It's just, as you mentioned before, a drop in the ocean. The game was pretty much gone.
Double categories in one turn was certainly a play I never saw coming.
No.
I kind of had written off this two cost Charlotte category, but with this now new pudding list, it's pretty aggressive actually. We getting it is it's basically it is category turbo rather than going for our 10 costs now.
Hmm.
Running not only with 7 cost four purple and two yellow categories, but we also have the 2 cost to upgrade into them with very, very aggressive four.
Yeah. No, that's a lot of value coming left and right, and there were some really, really cool plays generally, like with Dawn management. Once putting God into the rhythm of it, the fact that those categories were giving you Dawn and letting you use your searcher, it's it's kind of awesome. And without even exposing them to a swing, because the category will also untap the rested pudding searcher after you taking a peek at life. But well, double piranha start is always nice, and we go for 7 and kind of be a bit more aggressive rather than just playing the blocker.
Yeah, we definitely are gonna try and force Mary down quicker this game because that late game does look disgusting from this deck.
Hmm. Face is the place, and we're gonna be basically taking back the same from Archer's perspective. There we see the first big mom of the match. I'm pretty sure that Mary had some on game 1 in hand, but they weren't that effective. But ooh, that is also kind of good.
Now we do see this category being played down. We can't use it yet because Arch does not have enough done.
Yeah,
However, scary thing is we you know some of these green Zoro, green blue Sanji lists are running the green Zoro, so we could see this being potentially stolen away from us here.
yeah, I actually wouldn't hate that play either. I know that the Zoro itself wouldn't have been able to swing, but it's not a horrible option. We do have some other possibilities as well, right? Like we could rest it. It's a two cost category, so we could have rested it with the slash 2K whose name is almost impossible to remember. Kousaburo Shimotsuki. Um, so there are some reasonable possibilities to get rid of that somewhat early. At least 5 cards. Yeah, there we go. Rampity ramp.
I have to say, this turn from Arch, while we did set up two blockers, I do worry that blockers is not what we need.
No, I'm gonna give a free 1k out of that 6k blocker. I'm hoping we get to use it a bit more offensively on the way back. Huh, that is an interesting 2k to be giving out. I do get the feeling we might want to build some board now before we reach the critical turn.
Definitely need to be looking at how we can get as many swings into Mary as possible now.
And we did not see the Arlong, so we couldn't stop that second swing. And Mary is basically ready for that big mom now. It's still in his life, but
Ooh, we do see the Holy Jones drop here. However, this does mean no leader power this turn, which while we will be getting this category off the board,
mm,
it means that we're also not putting pressure onto life, which coming up to these big non-turns can be worrisome.
I mean, we could be going twice at life. I wouldn't hate it. Which I think is what just happened, right? And now you get to
Yeah,
go at the board after the counter was given. I think we're probably prioritizing that. And unless Mary had two 2Ks to give us, there we go.
do let that go.
Mm-hmm. Mary has a relatively small hand size now. We have been using all of the resources as we were going and defending life as a cost. So
But
I don't think it's a bad spot for ARJ. Do we have the 10 cost now to kind of keep moving?
I hope so, because otherwise I would have definitely been tempted to take that first life to make sure that we do.
I guess so, but it's kind of scary to
We're
take.
going for a
Ooh.
pudding instead. Which, if we can follow this up like last game with another two cost category, this could be very good.
Yeah, but we did preset that category. Are we gonna have category number two? No.
Unfortunately, not. We do get a nice 8k swing here. I, I'd probably imagine it's into the law, but we will see from
Ooh.
the counter.
Double 2K. Oh,
Yeah.
2K, 1K. Into the law. You're right.
And we're going to keep this Kyosho blocker for when the bigger bodies start hitting. Because Guido does always love to counter here, just to make that VV live again.
Yep. You need to be on a slightly lower hand size to get things going. We keep running. Maybe we're digging for that BB, or we might be just trying to look for another copy.
Only slightly lower, though, because you need to have. It's only 5 cards in hand, which is quite a
Ooh.
lot.
Yeah. I guess it's 6 counting herself, right? So there is that.
Yes.
There she comes.
Now, what offensive plays can we get down this turn? We will have
It is
leader power active, we will have this law to restand, and we do have this big Hody.
6 dive and we take the free block. Ooh. That is very tempting, actually.
Tempting to swing big at the category.
Maybe twice. I feel like that is some good bait coming
Uh,
from
we
Mary, specifically given we didn't get a second 2K last turn when we could have, right?
we do instead punish this free block with the Vanderdecken.
Ooh. You gotta love it. You gotta love it getting rid of the Tarlong that no longer poses any real value
Yeah.
beyond
You're
just being a 4/6. So,
are even going to recycle this Vanderdecken too. This
mhm.
will be very scary if Mary was to start developing these big bodies, knowing that that Vanderdecken is in hand to punish anything.
Again, I do like this. I do like this swing, and I feel like now, four cards in hand for Mary. I don't. Ooh, I don't think I would have gone in this direction, but I suppose you do have a decent chance at going through all the life. I guess. And now we know he has the 10 mom, right? So that's pretty much a telegraph play.
Yep, this would be a very. It would not be surprising if we just see that Don stack turn sideways.
Hmm. I did like swinging six with that low, but I'm not sure I enjoyed pinging with Howdy. Yeah, now it's a double five plus burn alive.
Now we do need to be careful, sort of from our side when we're seeing these lives burn. Not to leave ourselves too exposed. We do feel pretty good because we have the Koshiro plus the law, which can always not swing with if we do need to be a bit more defensive.
That makes sense. It's kind of scary now. We do need to leave at least one of them open, and I would argue it's okay to leave both.
This game definitely feels like it still go either way. Mary has to respect the Vanna deck, and we know is in hand, and Arch has to respect another Linland coming down.
Hmm.
And I think this 8 cost Mihawk is an amazing time to play this here. It not only bolsters our defense up, but gives us another body to potentially be using.
Yep. Yep, that makes sense. I apologize for previous miscommentary, by the way. I did read Zoro Sanji the other way around. It reached 7,000 or less, not or more. So like the two swings with Hody were not an option last turn. Still kind of like going at board if we could just tuck some cuts. Fair enough.
Yep, I think you always just take the putting out here just to ensure that there's no
Yeah.
or limit the chance of pressure back on your life. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see this Vivi bounced once again.
Hit life.
We are going down to one life here.
Gonna VV, see how much counter we pick up, and I feel like it's kind of alright to swing with that low again, a 7. Right, we do have two blockers, even through an ace or a big moon, we're kind of on a good spot.
Yep, I definitely would be tempted to push this 7k just to get a little bit more counter on out of Mary here.
Oh, chat, Arulogun just asking when the sign ups open for the next season, but unfortunately we are not looking to expand the number of divisions right now. So it will basically come down to replacing anyone that might not be able to do the next season. We might share a link at some point towards the end of the season, but you have plenty of time. The end of the season is pretty much scheduled for the Düsseldorf finals. So closer to that date in December, we will be sharing more information, but we cannot promise that we're going to get anyone in because, yeah, we are kind of already stacked and happy with the divisions at this point. So it's going to be more of a case by case situation whenever someone cannot make it anymore. But back to the game.
We are leading 5 swing here. Um, Mary hasn't actually refreshed his Don, which
Doesn't
could
need
be
to.
telling that we're going to be playing another 10 cost.
Mm.
Yeah. And the 5, just the base 5 swing does kind of maybe show that. We are going to turn this Linland sideways, so we are opening ourselves up to potentially being Vanderdeckend on this follow up turn from Arj.
Of
And we are
course, the ace
seeing
is there.
another ace. Now,
Yeah, I was gonna ask, do you take this live or do you? Oh, it might have been at board directly. So I feel like if at board you always defend it, but had that swing been into live, do you take it?
it is tough because if that you don't want to get punished by the mum, but we have seen this, especially if we're thinking in Arj's mentality and it's best of 3. We have seen ace dropped on
Oh
both
my.
other games.
Oh my, I can see what's happening. This is cruel.
Yeah,
This is cruel.
this week. If any of
This
you
is
guys
so
are not
cruel.
familiar with Zoro Sanji, this will probably be a play which will get you immediately interested in the deck.
Hmm. Okay, that's gonna Pick us up. Oh my, that's gonna be double decken. Double decken and
Oh
getting nothing. Ready to
no!
restand, or maybe the VV. I guess I can be okay with putting 3 Don into VV and just swinging 5 twice. That's
I just
and hope.
really hope ARJ does have the Fishman target in hand because I would love to see the double decken.
Yeah, it's looking like it. We are. Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Second decken has hit the board. That And so yeah, this Zoro Sanji deck, not only is it aggro, not only can it outvalue your opponents with Vivi,
Oh, there we go. Some NL magic going on. We trust that category to heal 1 life, so we're back on square one.
yeah, but I just showed us that could Zoro Sanji be the best removal deck in the game at the moment?
Yeah, double decken.
Not many decks can as comfortably take out double 10 cost on a single turn like this.
Yeah, that's definitely not an easy thing to do.
And we do see this last life of Arj being burnt. Um, Mary's hand is only 5 cards. We could see some big pressure coming in from ARJ here. However, who knows what the triggers do? Well, looking at Mary's list, we are running sort of less dangerous triggers than previous iterations of this deck. Um,
Mostly defensive,
incredible,
right?
yeah. The incredible thing is, we're only actually at 2 copies of Zero Cost in this list for Mary, and we have seen it in the second game in a
In a row.
row at the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, and we are in time to keep saying it. Uh,
If anyone could do it, it would be the Adele Master himself, Mary.
mhm, undeniably. Okay, so we see that first 8 go through. We have a 2K in hand now. It's gonna be a 7 swing with Vivi number 1.
Yeah. We are going to be looking at restarting shenanigans with Vivi.
It's gonna be a whole lot of 7 swings, I think. We're gonna go 7 with leader, bouncing the BB. Yep. So 1 BB or 1 Vanderdecken, I guess, up. 1 BB down. 4 cards in hand for Murray.
Yeah. Arch may not even go for it here. If we've got some more blockers.
I feel like even just replaying the BB, you're kind of in a good
Pretty
spot.
happy here.
Yeah. He's taking it. Is that a 0 cost event? It's not.
Oh.
Oops. Oops. And another 7. And we're gonna go 11. Like 0 cost event.
So
Pudding. That's not a break, is it?
it was not.
Oh, that's a flex. He's telling me come for me. 2K, 2K, 1K, not quite enough
It
to
was
get out of an
guaranteed
11.
there. But
Mhm. That was a lot closer than
oof.
I thought actually. That's some really good work for Murray, taking the second game pretty much unilaterally and making Arch sweat for this one. Like he was in a very tough spot if he wasn't able to lethal this turn. So yeah,
Certainly was a very
definitely.
exciting game. We got to see some absolutely wild turns. We saw a double Katakuri turn. We saw a double Vanderdecken turn.
Hmm.
That was a very back and forth
Yep.
best of three from
Yeah, I'm
two very spicy lists.
I'm really hoping for someone to do the clip on the double decken. I'm really hoping that basically gets translated into the history of Sabao the Showdown. amazing games today in general, but this final round was great, and obviously always a pleasure to cast with you, Jake. How do you feel about Arch taking the win? I know you didn't have any preferences, but you know.
I mean, after that showing, I think he definitely earned that win.
Hmm.
It was great. That was a great series. I really hope that we get some more spicy lists like that and some more spicy matchups.
Yeah, no, definitely. This week is going to be great, and I'm pretty sure that the whole season is going to be amazing, even through the emu times that we're probably going to be experiencing. But anyhow, this has been about the Showdown. Thank you everyone for watching today. It's awesome to be back, and thank you to all of the players that gave us this amazing gameplay and all of the casters that help us enjoy the evening. We hope you liked it as much as we did, and that's me, Gonzo. Thank you for watching. See you next stream. That will probably be either tomorrow or Saturday.
Good night.
Good night.